to the Making Up the Numbers podcast. The Making Up the Numbers podcast is sponsored by Hope Technology, J-Tech Suspension, Revolution Bike Park, Ride Southern Spain, Schwal, and the world's finest independent mountain bike magazine, Singletrack.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of season 5. It might be getting cold here in the Northern Hemisphere, but this episode will definitely be bringing the heat. First up, we have possibly the biggest hashtag team rumour of all time, definitely since Gwyn to YT in late 2015. Then we'll be playing retirement 20 questions with Jack before the Austrian World Cup winner, Andi Kolb, makes his debut on the show, and we're very excited about that. Right, let's get cracking. Jack, Emmy, how are you doing?
Cold, very fucking cold. I've just been a CrossFit and it was literally like double coats before we started, and I'm not even sure if I was warm by the end. Very cold.
Emmy?
Yeah, it's quite cold here as well, but it just snowed a lot and I ventured out with the car this morning. It was quite the adventure. And now it's raining on top of it, so it's definitely miserable now.
Ain't it funny though? Like today, we got up and there was... Have you got snow over there, George?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a little bit here, not much, but a little bit. It's actually more or less melted now, but this morning when I went out in the snow with Blake and Albus, it was nice. It was cold, but I was all right. Mm-hmm. Whereas if I went out in 5 degrees warmer in the rain, I'd be freezing. I'd be like shivering. Isn't it funny how like different weather, because the sun was out and it was crisp, I didn't mind that. Whereas
you see,
wet and miserable and grey, you're like, ugh.
See, I went out in it before that. I agreed to have my van in the garage for its MOT at 7:30 this morning, and I had to e-bike back from the next village along.
Oh,
and it was just getting light, and it was pretty cold.
Yeah, I bet.
I forgot my balaclava as well. Yeah. So, Jack, we had our first coaching session a few weeks back, and I think you saw a lot of potential in me. I mean, what you actually said was there's a lot to work on, but I've tried to take the positives out of it.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Like you're genuinely in quite a nice position, because you've got loads of things there that you can, if you put your mind to it, and obviously I've given you the feedback and the list of things to be cracking on with over the next few months, you're going to see hopefully some decent improvements. Whereas some people come to me and there's very few things I can be like, right, over the next couple of months, you'll improve this, and this. We're more looking for finer details. So, yeah, man, relish the opportunity. Like, I'd like to think that by March you'll be getting some of those goals done. I've
been out every weekend since. I've been practicing. Yeah. I've been trying to hold that body position and stuff. Yeah. So you've been busy since then. You've been out in Portugal. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, it kind of generated more questions than it answered. I'd initially advertised one of our kind of new holiday camps for November, but I didn't really do much advertising. We didn't get enough people interested. So I was like, well, actually, that's a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because I do need to go and do some work ahead of the camps next year. So we went to check the track out. That had been kind of badly damaged by the rain. None of the Portuguese do any track maintenance whatsoever. It's not a thing over there. So all the bushes had grown back, so we had to kind of spend 2 days getting the track going again, which is, we've realised that we need to get in there really with diggers. So that's now an extra trip in January where we're going to have a kind of bit of a team crew over there, and some of Mark's dig crew, 2 diggers on a track to really kind of not just improve things for the camps next year, but give the track some longevity, so that when we actually return to it each time, it will be open and running. Because the top section that had the proper work done to it last January was absolutely fine when we went last week, whereas everything else had like bushed over. And so there was that. I wanted to look to see whether I was ready to buy my own vehicle in Portugal yet. Vehicles in Portugal are super expensive. The one we went and looked at was 8K for this absolute wreck of a thing. Honestly, the number of things wrong with it was insane. And the mechanic said, "Oh yeah, you buy it and then we fix it." And I was like, "No." There was so many things wrong with it, so we basically decided, well, that's not an option at the moment with the budget we got, so that means I've got to take another vehicle from here. We're looking at properties over there, and then I met one of our new riders. We did some of that, got together with him, which is exciting. So yeah, it was a good week. It was a busy week, but yeah, it was good. Cool.
And the team's taking shape for 2024.
Yeah, it is. We've got a new sponsor. for frames. We've got a couple of new other sponsors. And honestly, given the situation of the industry right now, and the fact I've just retired from World Cups, I'm really, really pleased with the situation we're in. And we're going to be, we're going to be a 10 rider program next year, including myself, covering youth, junior.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's going to be really exciting. We're going to be the factory team for the brand we're going to be working with. Obviously, we're still working with Sunto. So, yeah, I've had 3 or 4 weeks on the bike now. I was on the bike in Portugal, which is why I wasn't sharing any content while I was there, because obviously I was on testing a different frame. So yeah, things are great, and the future for the team's looking really good. So pleased.
Excellent. So Emmy, we're recording the intro of this show this afternoon, and you're flying out to Brazil this evening. So you can't do the interview with Andi, but tell us a bit about that trip.
Yeah, it's a vacation. More or less, I'd say, because Jack will know about this. Like during the season, now the season's going until October. You don't really get vacations at all.
Yeah,
in nice and weather. And Cam was obviously in a bad way, so I was more at home, and we didn't get to go somewhere nice. And she still had that flight from the Snowshoe and Mountain Am World Cup that was still. There, and we couldn't refund it, so we changed it into Brazil. And I'm actually excited because we're gonna be visiting a friend of mine who was riding World Cups and full cross World Cups back in maybe 10 years ago.
Right.
Luana Oliveira, maybe Jack remembers, but she's like crazy Brazilian girl that was really good at full cross and like kind of break through maybe 10 years back, and now she's living in Brazil there. So
cool.
We're going to stay at hers and enjoy, probably train a little bit, but we don't take bikes with. So we're just going to, yeah. It's a good timing from the weather.
Yeah. And how's Cami doing now?
Good. She had her last, she saw a shoulder specialist like for all the chest pain. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah, so from the shoulder is everything's fine. So the pain she's experiencing is not coming from the shoulder, it's coming from the chest, and she needs to see a chest specialist. But he said, oh yeah, because you had ribs broken. And we were like, oh, did she? Because nobody kind of noticed. Obviously he focused on the brain and the collarbone, which wasn't damaged, but the pain was in the collarbone. But apparently she had broken ribs, so she needs to see a chest specialist because to see if there's some kind of blockage under the collarbone that's like, and also blockage of some kind of like blood vessels. So that's why when she's actually doing exercise, it comes worse than when she's actually like standing there.
Okay.
So it might resolve itself on its own, but it might be like some kind of stuff that a surgeon could be with a quick like surgery could really fix it. So we need to see that guy and see what he says. But that actually it's an explanation for the pain that was like unexplained. So pretty good, but not really good at the same time because there's something that's not totally right there.
And what have you been up to? Anything exciting in the last few weeks?
Not really. Working at school. I had 2 weeks at kindergarten, and I usually don't do kindergarten. It was a bloody nightmare. It was babysitting the whole day. No, you gotta work at some point. But did a bit of that. We did a little bit of riding before the weather got really bad, and now I'm ready to go to Brazil. So yeah, usual life.
Excellent. So the plan for this show was it's all a bit quiet on the news front. There's no big rumours. We've not heard anything else about next season. So this would be a really good opportunity to do Jack's retirement 20 questions and then bring Andi in. All good. So that's what we were doing. And then boom, probably the biggest team rumour ever breaks this week. And we're now on Thursday and I still haven't seen it on any public forums. So the rumour we're hearing is that the GOAT, Greg Minnaar, will be saying goodbye to the Santa Cruz Syndicate, a team he's been riding for the last 16 seasons, where he's delivered a staggering 17 World Cup wins and 3 World Championships. And what we're hearing is that he'll be lining up for Norco in 2024. As I said, this is just a rumour, but we've tried to clarify it. And in doing so, I've had the same information from, is it 3 now unconnected sources, Emmy? I'm on 2, you're on 1. And I've reached out to Greg for comment, but I haven't heard anything back as yet. I wouldn't expect to hear anything because he'll probably still be under contract with Santa Cruz until the end of the year and probably can't comment. If it's true, that's a huge gamble from Pon, isn't it? Especially given that Santa Cruz have just launched the new V10. Thoughts?
Well, when you first told me, I said, didn't I? I was like, fuck off. I was like, if that's true, the industry really has gone, not the industry, the world's gone mad. Because I think everybody thought that Greg would wrap up his career at the Syndicate. And from both sides, I don't think anybody thought that would, he'd finish there and then move on somewhere else and have his twilight years on a different brand. It just, Greg Minnaar, Santa Cruz Syndicate, they just come as one, don't they? So, firstly, to hear of him leaving, I was like, nah, if he's leaving, he's retiring, surely. But then, no disrespect to Norco here, but to then hear he's going to Norco, like, what? They're not known as having, like, the big riders and the I hope everybody knows what I mean there. Like, it's Greg Minnaar, for fuck's sake. Like, that's a huge, huge thing. And if he was leaving Syndicate, you would have thought he'd be going to, Specialized Gravity or, one of the huge, like, setups. So it's interesting to hear that a team that we got told was folding at the start of the 2023 season came back and had a team, which has been quite small and quite quiet, is now signing Greg Minnaar. I was like, what the fuck? So, yeah, they're my thoughts. I think, wow.
Do you not think, though, that it might be, if they're building a new bike, because Gracie was and Mark were on and Lucas were on a new bike second half of the season, I think it was, he might be the perfect person to help develop that. Oh,
yeah, it's real smart. I'm just really surprised.
Yeah.
Right.
Emmy?
Yeah, I mean, I remember, when was it? I thought the same. I thought, like, oh, maybe, I don't know if Norco is going to be a thing, like, at all. And also because on, like, the more ambassadorship side, Jill and Bryn got also dropped by Norco. I remember Jill putting his resume online, and I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. But maybe now everything made sense, maybe. Because if they're signing such a big other rider, then they might have to get the budget somewhere. But obviously that's a huge news. And I don't know, like, they developing the bike also with Kirk McDowell, and he's, like, a really good person to work with. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. So off the back of this, I'm not sure how connected these things are. And again, these are rumours, but I've heard Laurie's re-signed with the Syndicate for another 2 years and that Mark Wallace has been let go by Norco, which does make sense if Greg's coming in, I suppose, but real shame if it's true because Mark's a fantastic rider and I thought it was a great fit with their brand, with him being Canadian.
Yeah.
Greg Minnaar, Lucas Cruz and Gracie Hemstreet. Quite a good, strong team though, isn't it?
Yeah, you would think so. And like you said, George, like, if they are trying to really develop the bike, who better to have in there than Minnaar? So
yeah, Greg's obviously been synonymous with the V10. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on with the different bike and especially the high pivot. How the very top riders, we don't see them change bike that often. How long does it take to adapt to a different type of bike, you reckon?
I don't think it takes very long, to be honest. Like, obviously, I've just gone through that process myself in the last 3 weeks, and some days I've ridden both the V10 and the new frame, and other days I've just ridden the new frame, and I've now been back to a track in Portugal that I know extremely well. I probably did 75 to 100 laps of it in the pre-season when I was coaching and training myself, and within 2 days was matching my times from the start of the year. The setup's a little different. I needed to do slightly different things with the shock to get the same kind of performance, but ultimately, like, I think a lot of it's more the rider than the bike. Everyone's making really good bikes nowadays, and you just need to ride the thing, get it set up, and then usually I think you're off.
I think it's more so, like, I think it's even worse if you change sometimes little things like suspension, brakes. Like, it makes I think it makes it harder. For example, I see Bernard with the prototype. Obviously, the prototype is a more modern bike, so obviously it was straight away faster on the prototype, but it was hard because obviously it's a Muller, it's like a high pivot and all these things, so he was just coming fast into section and then we'll hop on the old bike and it was just it's just as fast, but he just doesn't brake as well, so you just crash on the braking point, so there's like little things like this But if you keep your tires, you keep your brakes. I don't know. I was thinking, what is he going to do with suspension? That was like my big thought. Minnaar and the RockShox suspension.
Wow, fair point.
I was just like, this is worrying me the most. The frame must be like really good, but it's a big change.
Does it mean Norco can get Fox? Like,
could be.
Like, it's a really fair point you just made, though. And like, I think I'd rather change frame than grips. I'm serious. Like, I've been running the same grips now for a good few years. I really like them. And if you had to make me go on to like a different grip that was a totally different style, that's the contact point with the bike. So it's a really fair point there. I mean, the small things can actually be like pedals as well. If you took me off Crank Brothers and put me on a Shimano, I'd be fuming for weeks. Like, if I unclip, I drag back into my cleat. So I'll get my foot on and I'll just subtly just look drag back. Can't do that on a Shimano. No. So I'd be like,
opposite for me.
There you go. You'd be the opposite. So yeah, you're dead right. Good point.
So that's not the only rumour floating around. There's one on the Vital forum of Continental Nuke Proof becoming Continental, with GT providing the frames and Danny Hart joining the team. Emmy, you've got contacts at Continental. Is there anything you can fill us in on here?
I've asked my friends at Conti and I haven't really commented on it. Ignored the important part of the message, but I respect it. I mean, they're probably still figuring things out, and if Danny were to be joining the team, that would be great for them, because obviously Ronan is left. So there's like the big riders is gone, so that would be a real good signing for them. So it would be stoked on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And here's one more for you. I was chatting with Martin Whiteley after the last show, and I told him our best guess for the third rider on Frameworks was Angel Suarez. That was who we thought. I don't know if we actually said that on the show or whether we just discussed that afterwards. If you remember, he said the third rider had been on a World Cup podium, and he offered up a selection of other riders it could be. So George Brannigan, Thomas Estac, Conor Fearon, Brooke McDonald, Baptiste Piron, Antoine Vidal, Gaetan Vige, or Mark Wallace. Brooke, I think you would say World Cup winner rather than podium. Baptiste, I think, told you he was staying at Dorval, is that?
Yeah, he told me he was happy where he was. And so I'm sure Vidal told me that as well.
Yeah, I think I've seen Vidal on a team camp this week. So I don't know if he'd be on a team camp if he was moving on. But anyone on that list that you think would be a good fit instead of Angel?
I know that George Brannigan was having conversations with NS and that team, simply because I think it's centered around George has had a difficult couple of years, and he's doing his best to come back to his best, but Kai's doing really well. And obviously teams only have a certain amount of budget, so maybe George has found another direction there. I can't see Thomas Estac leaving Commensal.
No.
I can't see that at all. So that for
Gaetan might be a good shout.
Yeah, 100%.
No?
Easy signing. He's a top 60 rider after his fifth at Montserrat. Only actually raced one final last year and one semi-final, but got a fifth. So he was, I think, 40-something in the overall.
Yeah.
And more importantly, just showed that he's got the pace. So, and then you've just said that Mark Wallace might be on the move. Interesting.
Cool. Right. Well, we've only been going for 15 minutes, but I think we need to pause for a little break and gather ourselves perhaps before we move on to the next part. So we'll be back with more after these messages. At the end of each season, we usually see a top rider or multiple riders stepping away from World Cup racing. And I thought it would be interesting to ask them all the same 20 questions. The idea isn't unique. I stole it from a TV program called Inside the Actors Studio. We've done a few now. I think Sick Mick declined last year, but in the past we've done this with Tracy Hannah. We did one with Emmy. Did we do one with Flo Paye? Or did we just...
I think so.
Did we do Flo Paye? Yeah. So go and dig out those episodes if you haven't listened. This season, one of the riders who's announced his retirement from World Cup racing is our very own Jack Redding. Jack started racing World Cups in 2010, so he's done 14 seasons at the very highest level and represented Team GB at the 2017 Worlds in Cairns. He's seen a lot of change in that time. So let's get into it. Emmy, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So first question, Jack. Favorite World Cup track?
It's weird being interviewed by you guys.
Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, a tough one because, as George just said, I've been there so long. It used to be Val di Sole when it was raw and just like loose. You'll remember that, I mean. Then it became a little bit of like a Mont Saint Anne. Loved Mont Saint Anne. So it was between those two. But then this year, like, absolutely loved that Andorra track. Like, just fast, flat out. Like,
really
loved it. Yeah, I think it's because it's so similar to our test track in Portugal.
right.
And smiles per miles this year was definitely Ludenville. Like, so yeah, over the course of my career, it'd be half Val di Sole, half Mont Saint Anne for sure.
Okay. And what about your least favorite track?
Old school Leogang can fuck off. I've said this many times before. I've told you.
What's wrong with it?
I just hated
Everything.
how tight it was. I've been 61st there. I've concussed myself there. Up until the rule change in 2018, I'd only not qualified between 2010 and 2018. I think I'd only not qualified 5 times. 4 of those were in Leogang. Like, and usually it was just like something stupid. So I hated that place, but then I came 19th there in 2017, and that's what got me to Worlds, George. So I kind of let the place off. But I actually think my least favourite track is Croatia. Leogang sticks with me more because I've been there so many times, but we only went to Croatia once.
Yeah.
Those death rocks in the wet, and it's super, super short. So yeah, I think that the track that I'd like least like to go back to race a World Cup would be Lochine.
Did it ever rain there though? My picture.
I went there testing in the wet.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Holy shit! Like you can't get down it. It's just glass with water on it.
Yeah. Just like the Rook Gardens at home. So it was this time I like it, but yeah, very familiar. So third question for Jack.
Go.
Greatest rival.
Difficult to pick one. When I was going through my earlier years, like me and my old man, we'd always have like Brits in mind that I was trying to beat. So for many years, Matt Simmons and Joe Smith were on the menu. They were like guys that I was like, if I can beat those two, I've done well. I'd say potentially greatest rivals Brayton. Like we've had our words in the past, and always like to be in front of Brayton. Got a lot of respect for the guy as a racer, and always used to enjoy it when I'd come down and be like, I've got him today. Didn't happen many times. With their Roots and Rain, I'll show you that. But yeah, I'd potentially say greatest rivals probably Brayton.
Yeah.
Nice. And best mate on the circuit?
Well, I mean, for 3 years, I actually had my best friend on my race team, so it has to be Will's for sure. Will Jones, who was on my team between 2016 and 2018. Other people I've got on really well with, like Mick Hanna, Laurie Greenland, people like that, where I've kind of had good times with on the bike and stuff. But yeah.
Nice.
Biggest strength?
No fucker's going to outwork me. Hardest worker in the room, for sure. Like I came into the sport late, and I think I was 21 or 22 when I went to my first World Cup, but kind of always been on the, like, felt like I've been chasing the others skills wise and experience wise, and I've just worked my ass off to just first of all get in there and then stay there over the last 10 years, just keep trying to keep up with modern kind of techniques and riding styles and equipment and setup, and yeah, just work my ass off. So even now I've retired, I've joined a CrossFit gym and I'm training harder now than I probably ever have. So
you never got that factory ride.
No.
Do you think you could have got? How much further could you have got if you had? Do you think because you've always had other things on, and I think I wrote this in the close that you did your degree, you've been an optometrist, you've always had to support your racing basically. How much further do you think you could have gone?
I could have got podiums, and I know that because I've had top 5 splits. I've had the speed, but I've always had imposter syndrome because I've never been accepted onto a factory team. So yeah, I've had the speed, but those other factors that I think if in my early 20s I'd been accepted onto a factory team and been guided, I feel like top 10s for sure, and maybe even some podiums, because I've got the splits there that prove, even this year with my sixth fastest through that split in Andorra, like And then I just wound it on a little bit too much, which I've always done because, as I said, imposter syndrome. I've struggled to know where that line is. So yeah, but I don't regret that for a minute. It's just the journey I've been on. It's put me where I am now, and it's why I'm so passionate about the coaching. So yeah, we will never know, George.
Greatest achievement?
Thought about this one when I saw it in the script. I think it has to be going to World Champs. As a Brit, I never thought for a minute I'd make it into that top 7 to go to Worlds and represent. And when I managed to go in 2017, that was pretty emotional. And then the fact that it was on a track that I really didn't like, Cairns. I was on the biggest bike on the circuit, so trying to get it round that Nicolai around those corners at the top was tough. And to go from, I think I was like 56th at that track the year before at the World Cup, to then come 12th in my race run at the top split, and then just make one mistake and get 25th. I was pretty emotional at the bottom of that race. I think it's one of the only times I've ever had a good race and like being like quite teary at the bottom because I was so kind of proud of how I'd done. So yeah, I think there's a few in there, but the Worlds in 2017 was probably the one I look back at and go, fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah, it's one to tell the kids, isn't it? Yeah. Biggest regret?
Crashing in the important runs. Letting imposter syndrome get the better of me in the important runs. Val di Sole 2011 when I qualified 12th and was top 10 in the splits at the top and then crashed. And there was another one, I think Half Gel qualified 14th and maybe crashed. Val di Sole again, qualified 14th, crashed. So yeah, those not keeping my head and trusting myself, which is what I drum into my athletes now. You are the person who rode that bike down that hill. Nobody else. Just go out the next day, enjoy it, and have some fun. Do the same as what you're doing. And I just wish I'd been able to tell myself that on those important runs throughout my career. Even Andorra this year, like it wasn't quite the same because my quali had just been average, so I didn't have that really good qualifying to go off the back of. But yeah, I've done it all the way through, and if there's one thing I really could change, it would be to have got it across the line in one of those runs where it would have been a top 10.
Do you think all that's made you a better coach, though?
100%, 100%. Because if your weaknesses are the weaknesses you have and the things that the areas you can improve in yourself. If you're willing to accept that, you'll become a better athlete and a better anything. And I've always had to kind of do that in my career to keep trying to improve. So that's what I try and do with my athletes. I don't call them weaknesses because my athletes are quite young. And if you start telling them they've got weaknesses, they'll usually take their bat home. So yeah, it certainly helps me kind of try and help those guys not make the same mistakes I've made because I've made a lot of them. So, whereas, for someone like Loic or Greg, who's just been incredibly successful throughout their whole career, like they don't know where someone more in the pack is coming at it from. Obviously, they've made mistakes and it's not always gone their way, but someone like Andy Kolb or Benoit would probably be an amazing coach when they finish because of the path they've took, and you're going to talk about that later with Andy. But someone who's worked their way through and gone all the way through, I could see that being a good coach.
Favorite memory?
This again, I saw this in the script and I was like, fuck. Like, a part of me wants to say, like, memories around results, but I don't have genuine memories from when it happened, if that makes sense. A really, like, strong memory is when I won my only British national race. I beat PE, Matt Simmons and Mark Beaumont, 3 guys who I'd always looked up to as being, like, top of the sport, especially PE, obviously. Watched him win Worlds in 2009 before I even dreamed of racing a World Cup. So to beat him at a British race was cool. And then to stand on the podium with my best friend who'd come 5th was, I can remember that whole experience acutely. My family was there and the whole team was there. That was absolutely sick. So yeah, I think that one's got to be kind of centre frame, really.
Okay. Next question. Your best race run?
I thought about this one as well, and to be honest, I struggled to find one really. In my memory bank, I was like, which one stands out as like? I genuinely don't know. You might have to come back to me. I mean, off stats, I'd have to say coming 18th at Lenside because it's my best ever World Cup result. I was like 1 point something off a top 10. I remember only making one mistake and being happy when I crossed the line. So yeah, it'd have to be that, from stats and from like, thinking about it, it would have to be 2017 coming 18th at Lenside. And again, that was one of the results that got me to World Champs. So let's go with that.
Do you know how many World Cup starts you got?
I worked it out before Montserrat. I think I qualified 67 times.
Okay.
Yeah. Up until 2018, I only not qualified 5 times. And then obviously they made it top 60. And since then, in that time frame, there's maybe been another like somewhere between 10 and 20 I've not made. So I think I've been to between 80 and 100 World Cups and raced about 67.
Nice.
I know you crashed, but I think Andorra for me is my favourite of yours. Just because I wasn't expecting, like, you come onto the screen and you're green and I'm like, oh my God. Like,
yeah. I genuinely think if I don't regret that day at all because I gave it my best. So what could I possibly regret? If I hadn't given it my best, my splits might have been like 25th, 30th, and I might have crossed the line and, who gives a shit? So I threw everything at it and I was 6th in that 4th sector, which put me about 15th or 16th by that split, but I was picking up speed. And I think the time gap in finals from 5th, which was a podium, to 15th was less than a second. And if I was picking up speed, who knows where I would have finished if I'd stayed on. So to think that, I was doing that is cool and, is what it is. But yeah, as you say, it would have been really nice to cross that line and, see it go green and get a top 10 or whatever. But you can't have regrets like that in professional sport because I tried my hardest.
Yeah.
I can't ask for more.
Okay, so I'll ask you about your best race run and what's the best race run you've ever seen, like from another rider?
Yeah, tough to pick. I've got to go with a Gwynny from back in his heyday. It's either Wyndham when he just destroyed everyone by 15 seconds on that short track when we watched it. We were just like, what is happening? Because it was he was visibly faster than everyone else and it was just insane. Obviously, the Leogang run without a chain was just, it was nonsensical, really. Like, fairly peddly track in places and he won it without a chain. So, yeah, got to go with a Gwynny. There's other ones in there from
Mont Saint Anne in
Legend.
the wet.
Yeah, Mont Saint Anne in the wet.
That's mine. That's the best I've ever seen, I think.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, Gwynny in his heyday. It's not to put down anyone like Piron or any of those boys. Loic's Andorra run where... Was it Loic or Vergier who won that one? It was Loic, wasn't it, when Vergier did a 6th time and then all of a sudden Loic went 3 seconds green at the first split and we were like... So there's other runs in there, but I think one of those Gwynny ones from like 2015 kind of time was up there. Do
you remember the Bryceland one when in half year when he just like was about to be world champion and he just broke his foot?
Yeah, and he'd been sitting down. He'd like classic Bryceland just like chilling between the sectors and then he come flying into that jump and hadn't hit it fast all week. That's what he said. So then he hit it quick, landed to flat, broke his foot and rolled across the line for 3rd. 0.
That's why
world win.
Yeah. When I read the question, I was like, think about that. And then I was just like, remember that? Because I was there. I remember that moment. I was like, oh my God. That was also a good one.
I can't actually remember any of his runs from that 2014 season, but that year...
Yeah, the Montanan one was also pretty crazy.
Yeah, like he was on fire that year.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and we'll speak to Andi about it later on, how in this sport, when you get on a run, you see time and time again, people get on a run, they'll get, like Andi got his first podium, and then the next 3 months, I think he had another 4 or whatever. It's just, and wins with Danny. We saw him win 3 in a row, and then, you've seen Piron do it.
Oh, Rachel, the best example.
Well.
When I look back at result, I was just like, how did we even not quit the sport? Like,
it illustrates how much it's
winning the whole year.
It just shows how much it's a mental sport. And if you can, once that switch flicks it for whatever reason, if you can then hold that there and ride that wave of confidence and commitment, you're the same athlete that you were the week before, but you're 5 to 10% faster just simply because your brain's allowing you to do that. And that's where sports psychologists come into the sport. Like, I think like it'll help more people be able to do that because they're able to understand themselves better. That would be my take on it.
So what's your biggest crash?
Oh, easy. Mega avalanche this year.
I was thinking so.
If that wasn't on the snow, I would have been fucking dead. Like 50 odd mile an hour into a sinkhole, flipped me over the bars. I was crashing for about 100 meters. Felt like I was in a washing machine. I actually remember crashing, thinking I'm going to die. It was going on that long. Like I remember spiraling and flipping, and so yeah, that one for sure. And I've not been forced to sign up again next year, but it's in my SR Suntour contract to represent them at the Mega next year. And I kind of thought long and hard about whether I was going to do it again. And I was like, well, I don't want to, but I'm a professional mountain biker and I race my bike for a living, so I need to stop being a little bitch basically and get on with it. But I will definitely be surveying that glacier in more detail before we drop in, knowing where the holes are, taking less risk. Like, because
I'm already pitying the race organizer.
Huh?
I'm already pitying the race organizer. I feel sorry for them.
I'll just put it all on myself. I'll just literally just look at it all, and yeah, like I'm not going to have the fitness to win. I know that because those boys are so fit on the climb. So I'm not taking huge risks on that glacier just to like get past anyway. So I'll just get myself down, I think. Whether the adrenaline will let me do that when the helicopter starts flying over my head,
yeah,
I'm not sure. But that'll be the plan anyway.
Worst injury?
My shoulder 2021. So my shoulder 21, and not the dislocation, the second one that once again, Leo Gang, fuck Leo Gang. That damage to all my rotator cuffs in my shoulder. It's actually only just better now. I'd got it to a really good level in the summer where it wasn't bothering me on the bike, but I still had a few little like niggles with it. But off the back of how long we've been on from Montserrat now. It's almost 2 months, isn't it? Off the back of like 7-8 weeks of CrossFit. Surprisingly, it's made it so much better because I'm putting the shoulder through such like a range of motion under the different exercises, and the coaches at the CrossFit I'm going to are so good. There's never been a point where it's actually been at risk, and it's better now. But that shoulder injury affected me all the way through 2021, all the way through 2022, and then it played up again this April, May. And I saw a physio in June, and that kind of leveled it out for the season. So, yeah, it wasn't like a horrendous injury like you see like people having, but in terms of how it affected my racing, that one for sure.
So, biggest feature, has there been a line or feature that psyched you out?
Yeah, there have, for sure. And I was, again, driving back from the gym before thinking there's been features on World Cup tracks that I've like said to people, like, I don't get paid enough to do that. But I'm really struggling to like remember one of them, if that makes sense. Like obviously
that Leo Gang stump gap or something, like the gap that everybody's doing Leo Gang, for example, like the boys
in the top stumps.
Yeah,
that's what I did my shoulder on in 22.
Oh yeah,
so I was doing that.
That's pretty terrifying.
Last year, yeah, but as I said, I did it. Whereas there have been lines at certain, like, you know, the gap at the bottom of the old Andorra track that Bernard and Vergier and a few others used to do.
Oh yeah.
I never did that, but it never really scared me that much because I was like, yeah, it's just a gap. I just know I'm not going fast enough to get it. But there were some terrifying lines on tracks that I definitely didn't do, but I just can't at the moment recall any of them. If any of them come back to me today,
yeah,
I'll tell you tonight, George, when we're interviewing Andi. But there are definitely some horrific ones where like certain people have done them, and I've just been like, nope,
it's not for me.
I'm not doing it.
Favorite bike?
Yeah, thought about this one long and hard, and I think it depends on perspective. So, like right now, it's probably between two. One is the V10 because I had to buy that frame for this year. I bought all the frames for the guys this year because we didn't have a proper sponsorship deal. But I wanted to ride a V10, and I thought this is potentially going to be my last World Cup season. Let's have a go on one of these things, see what all the hype's about. Unbelievable bike, loved it. But I think casting my mind back, it has to be my Ellsworths. Like back then, I was just finishing uni. Like I was going off to be an optometrist and was also able to go and race World Cups against my heroes. And a company were willing to give me frames and etch my name on them and call me their professional rider. When really, to me, it was just my hobby that I was like lucky enough to go and do at World Cups, remembering back to that stage. And then I'd nip back to uni again and do some exams. So to have that bike back then, I loved those bikes. So yeah, I'd say my Ellsworth days were like when I was like at my youngest and at my most enthusiastic to like the freshness of sponsorship. Whereas now it's just a job. I'm just like, gather the sponsorship for the team. Let's get this going. And the bikes arrive and my riders are excited. And I'm just like, right. No, this is like work. These are tools. Like, so.
But they're all good now, aren't they? Well, not, they might be.
Yeah. I'm not coming at it from a favorite, like in terms of working perspective. I mean, Jesus, that V4, when I first got on the V4 in 2019, that was the one that everyone called the magic carpet. So at that time, the V4 was probably the best bike I've ever had, if that makes sense. And now the V10, I'm more meaning from like a personal, like my memories of having the bike. I'd have to probably say it was the Ellsworths in like 2009, 2010, 11.
Favorite thing about racing?
When it goes well. When you're at a weekend, this one was easy to answer. Like just like when I won the British round and I've had a few World Cups where everything's just, you're enjoying every part of it. You enjoy practice. You're even at the top warming up going, I fucking got this. Like, and then you do your race run and you know it's a good one. And then you cross the line and you have that feeling of satisfaction. Like just when everything's singing all dancing, which doesn't happen often. Like I can count it on one hand probably race weekends where things have just lined up and you've gone, yeah, that was sick. I've done my best there. Because even snowshoe this year, when I crossed the line and I was so happy with my race run, I was buzzing with how I'd ridden. I'd done better than I thought I would. But the weekend was a nightmare. I sliced my leg to pieces. I had to battle through. So like, you know, that weekend, not looking back and going, yeah, that's racing. That's fucking survival. That's work. So yeah, weekends when it all just connects and you're just like, this is easy.
Least favorite thing about racing?
The opposite to what I just said. Yeah. So when you're at a race, and no matter what you're doing, you never feel fast enough. You're having mechanicals. Just when you just feel up against it, and then at the end of it all, you cross the line. You're like, well, that was shit. I didn't even. Usually, throughout my career, I've always been pretty good. Even when I'm up against it, I can like sort myself out, go and do that race run, and get the best from it. Sometimes you don't. So those World Cup weekends where I've not qualified, you know, like a Leo Gang where I've knocked myself out or come 61st. Bullshit like that. Leger this year. Couldn't wrap my head around the track, really. That mid-sector, I just didn't like it. 61st in quali. That shit can fuck off. Like, you just... Yeah.
Okay, I think I might know the answer to that one.
Yeah, you know this one.
Favorite curse word? Favorite curse word?
Yeah, definitely fuck. You can get good passion behind that one.
Thing you'll miss the most retiring?
When you cross the line and I know when I cross that line from a sick run and I know I've done my best, like that and really cool practice sessions. So like Ludenville this year where the track was just awesome and everyone's just buzzing. And like you're at a World Cup, because normally you're at a World Cup, like Montserrat this year, you're at a World Cup and you know you are. Because everyone's struggling with the track. Everyone's going, are your arms hurting? You're like, yeah. And then you're rolling down with a puncture and you're going, how many have you had today? And you're like, yeah, 4. Those days of work, whereas Ludenville, where you're just riding the sickest track and then Cade Edwards comes past you in the air with his back wheel next to your face and you're like, yeah, boy. And then like you'll follow someone else down and there's dirt going everywhere. So yeah, those two things probably, like sick practice sessions on cool tracks and when a race run is just unreal.
Yeah, Cam said that because she was like, yeah, but you don't get to race, like racing or training on walk-up track is just different.
Yeah.
You don't really get to like ride walk-up tracks and you feel like a walk-up track. It's just different at the race. So yeah, for sure. That's for sure something. I don't miss it, but you might.
Yeah. I miss it. I'll miss the memories of it working. Like I just said, those 5 out of 100 where you're like, that was easy and you get what you want. But they're so rare.
Yeah. Okay. So opposite of that, things you won't miss.
Racing with injuries. And
Oh, yeah.
nice thing is the direction my career is going in now with the coaching and the team management. It's still essential that I'm on track with my guys and racing with my guys so that I can coach them the way I coach people. But if I pick up an injury, I'm now going to be in a position where I don't actually have to flog myself and try and survive and still represent on the track. I can go, right, guys, I'm injured. I won't be on track. And one of my other elites will step into a little bit more of a role that I'm doing or I would normally do. So, yeah, trying to race with injuries sucks. Like, because you just know you're up against it. You know you're not performing to your best. And, yeah, it's just rubbish. And like you just said, Emmy, like, racing's different to going riding. And if you're not doing your best, if you know you're going to go there and not do your best because of injury, it's just shit.
Yeah. So what about the future then?
How long you got?
Not very long.
We're running all day.
Yeah.
So basically, in a nutshell, I'll still be racing. A lot of people have thought I'm retiring from racing. You'll have to cut my legs off to get me to retire from racing. It's my hobby, my passion. I love it. So I'll still be racing Portugal Cups, European Cups, and shit. Like if in years to come I've got points and I'm able to do it. Hey Cam.
Hey Cam.
If I've got points and I'm able to do a World Cup that I wanted to do and it didn't affect my team in a negative way, I'd maybe participate. But the professional World Cup stuff is done. So that then now allows me to run my team how my team needs to be run. We need to make it bigger. We need to start supporting riders all the way through from juvenile up to elite so that we're developing these riders and prepping them for World Cups. Because what we've been having over the last few years is our juniors just aren't ready. It's all too much of a shock. They might have flashes of brilliance, but ultimately we want to be taking our juniors to World Cups after we've worked with them for 4 years as juveniles and youths on the team, after they've come through the gravity school. So that's the team kind of side. I want to build the team up, a big project for the winter, and obviously continuing into next year is find out of the industry sponsorship because the industry doesn't have any money. So we're going to be trying to improve our sales deck and our kind of, our visibility for sponsors so that more people want to associate themselves with our story and what we're doing, because we are doing a really cool thing, developing these riders and want to improve that, build the team infrastructure. And then off the back of that, my gravity school is synonymous with that. The team and the gravity school, they're a development project. So first, for any rider, is they need to be within our gravity school. So we're working with them. And then if they show us signs of potential brilliance, we'll bring them into the team at whatever age they're at, and continue to further that development. So yeah, that's basically the focus now. It's gone well the last couple of months. The main reason I've started CrossFit is because obviously I knew I needed to keep training to stay sharp, to be able to race these guys because they're fast as fuck, using my favorite curse word there. And I need to stay fit and strong to be able to give them a run for their money so that they can see my splits and I can give them feedback on getting faster. And I knew I wouldn't want to train. Stepping away from World Cups, my gym's in the house. I knew I wouldn't want to use it. So I packed it away, put it at the back. And last few weeks has just been training every day down there and working on my laptop and putting everything together. And we're at a point where we sent out our rider contracts this week. And everything's shaping up good and kind of super excited to get everyone to Portugal and start kind of, we're going to have a media team on the team now. So interviewing guys to run media for us. So we'll be telling our story properly on YouTube rather than me with an iPhone getting shit shots retrospectively after someone's done something funny, which I've absolutely hated having to do. So we're going to have a media crew with us to produce all that kind of stuff, bring in a second mechanic. There's loads changing. It's loads of stuff I want to be doing. So although the only part that's going to be missing is me not actually racing World Cups, everything feels pretty similar really. So yeah, it's good.
And that gym that you've packed away, has Sarah nabbed that for a playroom for Blake yet?
Funny actually. My dad's building us a porch because of Blake and the prams and every other accessory she's bought in. We need like a bit of a porch out front. So while that's being built, everyone's coming in through the gym. So yeah, the gym's like a pram park now. So yeah.
So, two last questions from me, not connected to these. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? And you can't have optometry in there because that's your profession as well.
Funny, I'm going to mention that on the next one. Fighter pilot for sure. I tried to drop out of uni halfway through first year to go and be a fighter pilot. My dad went, Jack, it's not Top Gun. You do know that, right? It was in my naivety. I think I thought it was. So yeah, I'd love to give that a crack. Other ones like F1 driver. I mean, that's cool as fuck, isn't it?
And what profession would you not like to do?
Optometry. That's shit. Really shit. Like, that's one of the reasons I'm the hardest worker in the room, because I've done a real job that's shit and I don't want to do it anymore. Like, I did 4 days of it in 2022. I've done none this year. Yeah, it's really boring. I'm not going to go into all the reasons, but yeah. The other job I wouldn't want to do, I was thinking about this. You know, when you come back from a flight and you're going into passport control and you've got that poor fucker going, lane 3, lane 7, lane 8, lane 9, lane 1, lane 2, lane 5, and you go into the electronic passports. That is a shit day. Isn't it? That's a really shit day. You'll probably see one of them later, Emmy, when you're airport. And after I've said that, you'll go, oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, so that one didn't look fun.
Well, congratulations from us all on a fabulous career. It's incredible, you know, what you've achieved, particularly given that you only moved up to elite in 2010. And as I mentioned earlier, you never had the luxury of being on a factory team. For anyone who's unaware, you did your degree alongside your racing when you started off. Then you worked as an optometrist, and as well as racing, you've always run the team. So good skills, and I'm sure we'll keep up with you because you're going to be on here. So best of luck for the future.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Much appreciated. Thanks, Emmy.
So we now bid farewell to Emmy for a bit. Enjoy your holiday.
Yeah, I'm not jealous.
Yeah, 2 weeks
You're
in
not?
Brazil.
Well, you've been in Portugal as well. So
yeah, you're going to Brazil.
I haven't seen sunshine in a while. It's starting to get dark. I need to put the light on.
Yeah. Well, safe travels to you. And Jack and I will be back with Jack on the other side of the mic with Andi Kolb after these messages. This time last week, he was feeding elephants in Thailand, but now he's back home in Austria, and I imagine regretting a few of those holiday cocktails. Andreas Kolb, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Hello. Yeah, doing good. Just had one cocktail, actually. Didn't drink anything, nearly. Yeah, it's crazy. Only mocktails.
Just one cocktail in the whole holiday.
Yeah, it's crazy, I know. But I think I had a few parties after the season, and I was a bit over it already. Yeah. I'm not a massive party guy, so yeah, just a nice time with the girlfriend, and enjoyed the sun, some vitamin D before the cold time in Austria.
Indeed. So we tried to set this episode up at the end of last season, and we just couldn't get the schedules aligned, and it never got done, nor throughout the season. But it's been a show that we've been desperate to do because you're kind of bucking the trend in the world of downhill at the moment, a late bloomer, so to speak. You're 27 now. Looking on Roots and Rain, I can see you started racing on there in 2013 as a first-year junior. Is that correct, or were you doing smaller races before that in Austria?
I did smaller races in 2012. Right. I did, I think, three races, but only like fun category. And 2013, I started racing with license, and a bit more international.
So, what's the kind of background? How did you get into doing bikes?
I think I got into it because of the World Cup in Schladming.
Right, okay.
I used to go there and watch with my mom together and just watch the 4-cross races, which was always a highlight for me, and the downhill, of course. Yeah. And I remember, actually, I told my mom I will never do something like this because it's so dangerous. But yeah, I was just obsessed with it and watching it, following Marcus Peck a little bit on Facebook and stuff like this.
Nice.
So yeah, that's how I got into it. Bought my first real downhill bike when I had some money, when I was working as a car mechanic. And yeah, that was pretty much the start of everything.
Cool. So 2014, you were a second-year junior. Leo Gang, you came 9th, 5 seconds back on Amaury. I think that was Amaury's only win as a junior, or first win as a junior. Yeah. Hafiel World Champs, 10th, 13 seconds back on Loris. It's notable that in those first few years, you only really raced locally. Leogang, Schladming, Maribor, and then you went off to do world championships with kind of the national team. Was that because of a like financial situation, or was it that your focus on racing just it wasn't that great, it wasn't that important?
The focus was definitely there, but first thing was financially. Yeah, I was working as a car mechanic, so not big money in there, of course.
Yeah.
And also time. You work 38 and a half hours, so like full week, and then you get the weekend off, and you have limited time which you can take off for racing. I remember like I went to European Champs, went home, drove home from Poland, arrived at home at like 5 a.m. and had to go to work at 7 a.m. So it was quite a tough deal, I think.
Yeah. Do you think do you think that's given you extra kind of motivation?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I think just I appreciate everything a bit more than others, I would say.
Yeah.
When I talk to someone and they're like, oh, everything is shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you have no clue how good your life is.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have like a 9 to 5 job like normal people do, the life we have as a World Cup racer is insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely always a good motivation. If I don't want to go to the gym or something, I'm like, I could be underneath a car right now, like the salt water dropping onto my head and just hating my life. So I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So you 2014, you were the Austrian junior national champion. Did that change things at all?
Nah, not really.
No?
Nah.
and then 2015, you moved up to elite, and I think 14th at the Leogang IXS was your kind of best result of the season. Did you struggle to adapt to life in elite?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I wanted to show it straight away that I'm fast in the first year, but broke my, I don't know how you call it, the upper arm straight on the beginning of the season, and then just it crashes, pretty bad material as well. Like some tires, I don't want to say which brand or anything, but I wasn't really lucky when it comes to material the first couple of years as well.
Yeah,
but it was a big struggle, definitely.
So I have to ask you about the 2015 Austrian national champs in Innsbruck. The race was won by Colombian Marcelo Gutierrez with Win Masters in second. So I'm guessing David Trummer took the jersey as he was in third, Marcus Peckel in fourth, and yourself in fifth. The track, though, Marcelo won with a 9 minutes 45. You crossed the line 39 seconds back with a 10:25. Was this from the pinnacle of the mountain to the foot of the valley, or? Yeah,
it's crazy. But to be fair, it was my favorite track that time. Right. I was loving it because everybody was hating it. Like a kind of thing I have, I think. If everybody hates something, I love it. Just right. Okay. I know mentally it helps me. And it was a weird race. It was a show race. It's just like so people can come there. It's straight next to the city in Innsbruck. Yeah. A lot of people come to watch, and it's just people, just want to see people race. It's not like an actual real downhill race where you have like good competition. And they gave me a number 15 or something, I think. And I had to overtake 3 people, and I crashed twice while overtaking. So I had no chance against the top boys. And I remember I was on for, I think I could have won that race. Like maybe not Marcelo, but the Austrian champs for sure. Still a bit angry about this one. And was that, at that time, was that kind of normal to be racing for 10 minutes for you, or was that a one-off? Yeah, that was my first downhill race I ever won a year before. Right. Or was it 2 years before? It was really good. I won 2,000 euros on that day. Wow. So the prize money was insane. That was my first race I ever won. I got 2,000 euros. I was like, this is sick. I'm going to earn some money in this sport. I think it took me 3 or 4 years to earn that much money with prize money in total after that. Is that more than you got for winning the World Cup this year? Nah, this year, 3,750 euros you get. Yeah. And that's 10 years later, and it's a World Cup. Yeah.
Crazy.
Bit more.
So, Andy, moving into 2016, and you lined up for 4 World Cups, D&Q'd at the first 3, and then kind of got a bit of a rhythm going at the end. 18th at European Championships, 42nd in Val Nord, 28th at World Championships in Val d'Isole. Do you remember much about that season? If you do, can you tell us about the emotions of like how you felt not qualifying 3 times, but then turning it around into a positive at the end?
Yeah, I remember that was also a season where we still struggled with tires pretty bad. And in mid-season, we changed to a different brand, and it just changed everything.
Wow.
I remember I couldn't ride my bike before. It's just the tires we had. If there was one drop of water on the track, you couldn't ride anymore. It was super bad. And it was super hard. It's hard compound, and just a big struggle. But yeah, I really struggled with my mind that season because I thought it's on me.
Yeah.
And luckily, we were allowed to change the tires, and I could see that it's something else and not myself.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, was a tough season for sure.
Yeah,
it's crazy that tires, they can make that one part can make such a big difference. I mean, I know the key, but that's a huge difference.
Yeah, I think tires is one of the biggest things for sure.
Yeah.
Like right now, like we have Conti, and I think everybody saw it last year. Everybody who was on Conti was on a good season.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so then we moved into 2017. You did one World Cup and focused more on the IXS series. Top 10 at all but one of those. Was it a conscious choice to stick to the IXS, find your feet, find some consistency, improve your racecraft, win some races, or did sponsors ask you to do those races?
First of all, sponsors. I wanted to do more World Cups, but I went to New Zealand in the winter before and did my AC joint in my shoulder, very last jump in Rotorua, the six stepper, which was there before on the old track.
Okay,
it was like a month of New Zealand. We rode bikes every day. It was the sickest month and I just fucked it. Sorry, on the last 50 meters of the whole trip. It was not the best start to the season. Then I had to take had to stop for 3 months, I think. Okay. Came back for the IXS Cup in Schladming. Thought like home race, I can do this one easy. Did my other shoulder in the second practice run or something like this. I think I also knocked myself out. I still don't know about that. So I had to have a break again for like I think only 3 or 4 weeks, I think. And then I started racing again. I actually did my first European Cup podium straight away. Yeah, okay. It was a proper weird season.
Yeah, okay. Well, that makes a little bit of sense then.
I was just too wild at the time, that's for sure.
Yeah. Easy to do. 2018 kicked the season off with a 20th at Lachine World Cup. Faded away a little bit. Came back at the end of the season, second at IXS Innsbruck, and you won in Bellwald at the Swiss IXS. Were you happy with the season? Did you get motivation going into 2019 from those results?
For sure. I mean, first top 20 in Croatia. Then I broke my collarbone. That's why I faded.
So okay, there you go.
For me, that was a season where I stopped working as a car mechanic in the winter.
Yeah.
Just did a bit of ski rental shop working, like saved some money, and then I put everything on one card because I said, if that season doesn't work out, I will stop racing World Cup because it's just, a mess what I'm doing at home. Yeah. And I'm not earning any money. I didn't really enjoy it anymore, really. Yeah. Because it was just stressing around and getting injured, not making any money. So, but luckily I found a ride after that and could continue the World Cup racing.
Yeah, I mean, before I talk about that ride you had, did you feel you were getting the injuries because you were in a situation where you simply had to make it work? Otherwise, you were going to have to go back to being a car mechanic and you were like trying too hard? Does that sound?
I think so, yeah.
Sounds a little bit.
I think so. I just tried too hard, that's for sure. Yeah, and I think I also trained a bit too hard that time. Yeah. With working, training, and racing, everything was too much. Yeah. If I would have trained less or worked less, it would have definitely been better. But you're always clever after it.
Yeah, well, you're getting it right now, so you obviously learned from it. So, as you just said, you found a ride, moved to Gamux 2019, and you really broke through. 24th in Maribor, 26th in Fort William, 33rd Val d'Isole, 33rd Lenzerheide, and 30th in Snowshoe with great consistency there. Would you say that season was kind of the turning point for you? Or not?
I remember I was really not happy with the season because I didn't do a single top 20 that year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we went way too big on the bike, I think. It was nearly 500 reach or something, the old Commercial.
Yeah, okay.
And I thought it would be the sickest bike ever, but I couldn't really ride with it.
Yeah, okay.
It was such a special bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely consistent.
Yeah.
But on another note, I had another injury, broke my hand once in Leogang. It was another season with an injury.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
That was still an ongoing thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, one thing I noticed about your races is that you race quite a lot. So, in 2019, you raced 15 times in just over 5 months, which is basically 2 weekends on, 1 weekend off for the whole summer. It might sound a strange thing to ask, but kind of, I've met footballers for whom it's just a job. And we've talked about you being a car mechanic and, trying to break through into this. Do you love it? Do you love the actual racing?
Yeah, for sure. There's nothing else. The best thing for me.
And the second part to this question was going to be that you don't, you're doing that many races, you don't miss many races through injury, but you've actually had quite a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I never took much time off. I think collarbone 3 weeks off. I broke my hand, not even 3 weeks.
Wow.
I put a cast on, which I could ride with. It never worked out. Like I always did bad at the next race, but I just wanted to try it.
Yeah.
When I knew I can ride, I did it. But if I think about it now, I would never do it again like this.
No.
Yeah.
But there's so many parallels with you and Benoit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the way you've come through, the way you've stuck at it, and the success you've had, even winning World Cups this season, first World Cups. It's so similar. It's
so sick, yeah. I always looked up to Benoit. I guess he was always a bit better than me. And when he started to do podiums at the World Cups, I was like, this is sick. I can do it as well. If he can do it, I can do it. And also when he won Leger this year, this was, also cool to see for me, even if I got second.
Yeah, cool.
Nice. So 2020, the shortened season that we all remember because of COVID. As George just talked about there, it was Benoit's breakthrough season. And he quoted that he kind of worked super hard in the summer to prep himself for that year when other people maybe didn't stick with it. You seeded 21st at Worlds and finished 22nd, 15th at the 2 races in Maribor, 17th and 14th at the 2 loser races, and 21st in the overall. Would you say that you were in the same position as Benoit, as you saw it as a huge opportunity to prepare yourself and went into those races in September like the best you'd ever be? Or were there more injuries?
Wait, I need to think about it. No, I think I just did. I don't know how you call it, my elbow a little bit. Like the liquid bag in my elbow. I have no clue how it's called in English.
Oh, yeah. Like a hematoma.
No. I crashed on it on my home trail, just like a manual loop out, but pretty fast. And I did it twice because I straight jumped back on my bike and I crashed on it again. So it wasn't a crazy injury, but yeah, still something. But yeah, I think that season was just the bike we had was the big thing.
Was that the Gamex still?
Yeah, we had some big struggles there.
Okay, so even though you had some good results, you were kind of, you felt like you were limited by the equipment a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So good results coming through in 2020, and then obviously in 2021. The move to Continental Atherton, so they'd obviously seen something in your riding. Tell us a little bit how that deal came about. Did you approach them? Did they approach you?
It's a funny story, actually. I wanted to stay with Gamux because we knew where we need to work on, and I thought I did quite well on the bike. We can make it better, so it should get better in the next season. But then there was no money for me, and I told them I can't go back working as a car mechanic or something because I don't know if I can ever get back out of it again. Yeah. And Trummer told me the Atherton's searching for a rider. And I was like, yeah, good joke. I will definitely get a ride there. And he's like, nah, come on, let's try it. And I remember just sitting at home on my phone, like typing a message to Lloydie, our team manager. And I think I just said, Trummer told me you're searching for a rider still. Because it was already pretty late in the season. It was like November or something because of COVID. And and would you be interested in a top 20 rider like me or something like this? And just send him a message on Instagram. And he replied on the next day, yeah, we're still searching, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk in the next couple of days. And I think 2 weeks later or something, the deal was done. I remember when I got the phone call from Dan Brown, I was crying afterwards.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. I still, when I think about it, like, I nearly still can't believe it.
Makes you emotional.
It's so sick.
Right,
yeah.
Well,
I can still remember.
Go on. No, go ahead.
I can still remember when I was watching the World Cups in Schladming, getting an autograph from G and Rage, and just watching them race. And now I'm in the team, and insane.
Yeah, well, all I was going to say is that's exactly it. Like you've had that real job, you've had the struggles to try and stay in the sport, got to the point where you're like, fuck, if I don't get a ride on a team here, I'm going to have to go back to work. And then all of a sudden you're riding for them. It's like a dream come true, right? So yeah, it's unreal. So 2021, bit of a step forward. 16th Maribor, 11th at Worlds in Val d'Isère, 15th in Lenzerheide, 11th in Snowshoe, 20th in the overall. I mean, we said a bit of a step forward there, but that's consistent top 20. So I'd say that's a fair step forward. Did being in the team help massively? Was it added pressure? What was that first season like?
There was definitely a bit of pressure in the beginning because I thought I need to deliver. But I really have to say it was like maybe the first 2 races where I felt it. And afterwards, since then, I never felt pressure in the team. It's honestly, it's so sick. Like Lloydie or Brownie, they never put any pressure on us.
Yeah.
They tell us like, just go out there, have fun and do what you do. That's it.
Nice.
It's so sick.
That's
Even
cool.
if there's like an overall podium on the line or something, they don't push us into something.
Yeah.
And I think it just everything got way more professional. And the last race in Snowshoe, I was actually on a podium run. I remember that. I think I was like 4th in the last split, and then I just fucked up the last section. Like I made everything wrong which you can make wrong, and even missed the top 10. I was so angry about that, but it definitely showed like the speed is there and the bike is working, and I was sick.
Cool.
Nice.
So 2022, it just went nuts. You got that first World Cup podium in Leogang, then European champion in Maribor, 4th in Lenzerheide, 5th in Andorra, 3rd in Snowshoe. Tell us a bit about that kind of 3-month period, because it was like you just jumped to a whole other level. Was it just confidence?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, confidence is. I think everything started with Leogang. I just came back from another injury from broken elbow a couple of weeks before that. And on that weekend, I just learned that all I need to do is having fun and don't think about anything. I had a massive crash before finals run, and I was just happy to make it up there and do my run. And then I had another problem. I had a problem on my brake. We still don't know what happened there. Like maybe something dropped on it from the tree or something. Was it front brake? No, rear brake. Rear brake wasn't working at all. Like I rolled down to the start gate. I think it was like 7 minutes before. I always go like pretty late to the start gate. I roll down. How my brake is not working? I was like, what the fuck? And that was absolutely chaos. Luckily, it was Howard up there, my old mechanic, Ben, my new mechanic now, and Chris, Charlie's mechanic that time. And they changed my brake and I think brake pads and disc, I'm not sure, in like 3 minutes or something. They were flying up there. Get down, brought me the bike. Win was already lining up because he was after me. And I think that was also a bit annoying for him because I was just stressing around. And when Howard gave me the bike and I just jumped into the start gate and left the start gate, I was just happy because I was racing. And I wasn't thinking about anything in the run. And since that day, I know that's the key. Don't think about it. Just do what you do.
Yeah, 100%. Just turn the brain off. Like I say that to the guys I coach all the time. We do a lot of thinking when we're in practice runs, but I always say to them, like, look, when you're doing your fast lap, you can't be thinking about shit because it's too strong. Like, just relax and go.
That's it.
I've had that, what you've just described. Like, I had it last year in Portugal. I had a slow puncture for my qualifying run, and my mechanic was on the pump in the start gate, inflating my rear tire to like 50 psi because we had no time to fix it. And I had to just race the tire down the hill. It's one of the best runs I've ever had. I qualified first. I didn't even feel like I tried that hard because I was just like looking after the bike and just found some flow. And like, when you overthink the other way, it just makes you slow. Like,
yeah, for sure. And it's also Charlie also did his best result on that day.
Yeah,
and he was proper ill. He was puking, and I was so close to tell him like, please don't get on your bike today. It's too dangerous for you, because he was so ill. And I was feeling shit as well because of the crash, and then we both did our best result ever. It was unreal. It just shows if you don't think about it too much, then that's where you do well.
Yeah. So you finished the season with second in Val di Sole and fourth in the overall. I know Jack was so keen to talk to you at the end of last season because that jump from being a top 20 guy, top 30 guy to being a podium guy is probably the hardest. Is that accurate, Jack?
100%. And the big thing for me with wanting to talk to you about it is you've not just like done it one week and then the other week you're 30th again, and then the next week you're 17th, and then you're 4th. You went from being, as we've just listed, like one season around the teens to all of a sudden, bang, I'm either going to be winning or on the podium, or there's been a huge problem. And it's, we just want to hear kind of your perspective on what changed. Like, is it things? Is it one thing? Do you even know? Like, because it's so cool.
I think there's so many things. It's just the whole program I go through. I think I always like sit down on the evening after the day, after track walk, after first training day, till like race day. I always sit down on the evening, like, is everything done? Do I need to see anything? Do I need to adapt somewhere? Do I need to change my mindset? Blah, blah, blah. There's so many things. And I think it's just like, I'd say 10 things I need to do every time. And if I miss one thing, something is missing. And I think there's also the team behind me. Lloydie, for example, he sees in Léger this year, he gave me shit when I was going slow in semis, I remember. Because I remember I wasn't hyped up really, and he just hyped me up with that and stuff like this. He knows like, okay, he's not hyped up, I will give him some shit, and like that's how I will hype him up. And I also got my mental coach at home, which I call. I got Pecky, who is like my mentor, which I can always call. And I think for me, it's always like the personal team behind me helps me big time. Or Ben on the start gate. It's just all the small things. Just keeping me happy and eating healthy. So many things.
So one big thing I'm hearing there, because I'm coming at this from a coaching perspective now, from all the things I tell my guys. And one thing I'm hearing there is you are ultimately focused. Like, there is no like deviation from the goal. Like, when you're at that World Cup, you're obviously, as you said, you wanted to have fun, but it doesn't sound like you're missing. You're not leaving anything kind of thought through. Is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah, I think I always give myself like 5 minutes where I just talk shit with Charlie or someone. And especially like when I finish my practice, I come down, like make some jokes with the boys, and then I focus again. I think I always need like a little bit of a downtime, and then focus again. If you try to be focused the whole weekend through, I think you start to lose it. I had that problem this year a little bit with semis. I tried to be focused all the time, and then final run I was up there like,
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Yeah, for sure. What would your advice be? Because something I'm seeing quite frequently with young racers is they struggle with when things are hard. And obviously we can't enjoy the hard parts because they're shit, but you have to cope with it, deal with it, push through it. Like, what would be your advice? What would be your advice to guys who are like getting into racing, but almost kind of sometimes lose the love for it because of the times that are difficult? Does that make sense? Is there one thing you could say to them to be like, see it this way?
Oh, it's a hard one. I don't know.
Look at what
it's
Andi
really
did.
hard one.
I think for me, every time when I'm struggling, I just maybe finish a practice run and like, I don't have fun or it's not working. My goal for the next run is I just go up and have fun.
Yeah.
Like maybe I do a shroud in that turn. Maybe I don't do any big whips or stuff like this. Maybe I do something funny in the next jump. Thumbs up for the photographers or something like this.
Yeah.
Just which like gets you up into like another mental game. And I think if a happy race is a fast racer, that's it. That's
100%.
the key for me.
Yeah, I think it's one of the hardest things to be able to do. And as I say, you've clearly been through it. It's to get through the times that are hard and come out of them the other side, still enjoying it, still loving it, and still wanting to chase that ultimate goal. Because ultimately, as an elite level racer, you have a fair few disappointments, and you just have to go, right, well, that's that one done. Let's push on. And you've clearly done that, come out the other side as one of the world's best. So it's going to be interesting for people to hear that. So nice one.
It's cool. So after that season, after 2022, you've broken through, you've become a podium guy. Was there any point during the off season where you kind of wondered, because I remember you went on a big holiday, that's why we couldn't get this done, you were aware. Was there any point when you came back and you thought, can I repeat it? Was it a worry? Was it a...
Hell yeah. I think that was I was never that nervous in my life before.
Really?
Like pretty much when the season stopped, I was like, it's over now. Now it's like the longest off season ever.
Yeah.
Can I do this again next season? It's like I need to remember everything what I did before I do something wrong next year. Maybe if I just change the smallest thing, if I eat something different or whatever. I was thinking about everything. I was stressing myself pretty bad in the winter. I don't remember. Where did we go on the beginning of the season? I think it was the Red Bull camp in Davi.
Yeah.
We did some timing on El Hippo, and I was battling pretty hard with Laurie, and I knew he was timing there like a couple of weeks before already, and I think I was just 0.3 off him or something.
Yeah.
And I definitely did way less laps and everything. And I think I smoked Charlie a little bit. So yeah, for me that day it was like, okay, it's still there. And but still going to Lenzade, and I think I remember their first practice run, I stopped in the first off camber, the super techie one.
Yeah.
And I had to stop and had to calm myself down because my breathing was totally off. I was just standing there and like shaking and couldn't breathe normally because I was so nervous. People watching me, are they like thinking about me different because of last year? And my whole mental game was a bit different. But then I won qualis and everything was sick again.
It's so nice to hear you say that, because I went to Lenzide off one of the best pre-seasons I'd ever had, but having 2 years of injury before that, and then got to Lenzide, got on track, and just my head just melted. Felt exactly the same as you. I felt fine on my bike, but every time I was like not riding, I was just nervous. And yeah, it's interesting to hear someone at your level saying the same thing.
I was also nervous on the bike. There was just people standing next to the track. I was so nervous. First day was pretty bad. I was happy when that day was over.
Can I just ask, like, given the team that you're on, you've got Rachel and G there who have been through all this, numerous times before. Do you speak to them about any of this?
Guess a little bit, not too much.
Have they been through this though?
Like that's the thing. I don't feel like G was ever through something like this.
Think about their background. They've been since they were like 15 years old, 16 years or whatever. Like they've been like the creme de la creme of the sport. Whereas Andy's at George.
Yeah, but they've come back from big injuries, haven't they? And they must have wondered, like, am I going to be as good as I was? Like, especially Rachel.
I guess Rachel would have been through that this year, of course. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I think Rachel was for sure through stuff like this, but I never really talked to her about stuff like this because I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to bother her and stuff like this. She's still a legend to me. She's still a legend. I think everybody there.
Exactly.
I don't want to be like that little Austrian, like asking every little question. But yeah, And Chi to me seems like an animal. Like he's insane.
You're not alone there, mate.
Toughest guy ever.
Yeah, alien.
Yeah, must be.
Alien. Unbelievable. Okay, so 2023 then. As you just said, round one Lenza Hyde, you won qualies, second in semis, and we're all standing at the bottom waiting for you to come down. Crashed at the top. You were on pace. Obviously, that was reassuring. How did you feel at the weekend when? Obviously, feelings afterwards. Talk us through it.
I think Lenza, I was a bit too hyped because I came into the season and my main goal was to win a World Cup.
Yeah,
but consistent. Like, don't be first and then 60th and stuff like this. So I came into the season. My goal was actually just to do a top 10, just be consistent. And then I won qualies, and I think my mind just changed. I was like,
I'm having this.
Shit, I can win my World Cup now. It could be now. So I got second in semis, and I lost my chain on the last section. So I would have been first, should have, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I knew, okay, the pace is still on. I can go faster. And then I started in the final run, and I was so aggressive out of this arcade. I think the first section I rode like never before. Then the left corner, I had the exit speed of my life. I doubled something, which I still don't know what I doubled there. Like, I just pulled up and like doubled over a hill, and I was like, how did I gain all that speed? And next second, I know my front wheel was gone, and I just exploded like huge crash. I crashed from the top of that off-camber down to all the left turn. That's why I stopped like crashing.
I know what you mean, yeah.
I was a gnarly one. And this one was over. I did my knee a little bit, like a soft tissue, how you call it.
I saw the picture. I went and looked yesterday. I was looking through your Instagram, and there's like a picture of it. It's just like one knee's like twice the size of the other knee.
But that was after Leogang then.
Was that one Leogang?
That was after Leogang because I crashed in flattening. But my knee started to make problems there for pretty much the whole season. Started to be good 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
How much
wasn't the best.
How much was being protected through the semis kind of helping you? Was that reassuring?
Huge. Like Charlie wasn't protected for semis, I think, for all season.
Yeah.
And every time we talked about something, I was like, fuck, I don't want to be in his shoes. If we get a flat tire or something, it's so shit.
Yeah.
Like, I think we actually voted for the whole protection stuff last year, and I was surprised how many people wanted protection rule because it's not really fair.
Yeah.
I guess like superstars like Bruni and everybody that should be in the main show because of the viewers, but on the other side, it's not fair.
No.
It doesn't make any difference if number 57 makes it to the final or Bruni. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I think it would be sick, no protection rule at all.
I agree with you because I think like if you out of 60 riders, say the chances of there's so many superstars now. There's a top 10 of them. The chances of them all not making it and there being no story. But then it's an even bigger story that none of the superstars have made it. Almost.
Yeah, there's only ever 1, 2, or 3. There's never rarely more than 3 that don't get in. And look at the Gaetan Vej story from Montenam. Like, that's way fucking cooler than Loic won again. Like, I love Loic. I'm one of his biggest fans. But still,
for sure.
He'll get through most, if not all the time. Whereas, so totally agree. So
I think we maybe need more races for no protection rule. That's still the only thing where I'm like, okay, I understand because like next year, 7 World Cups, if you miss one, the overall is nearly gone. So it is a bit of, it makes sense for the overall.
Yeah. So on to the big one then. Round 2 was Leogang, 11th in qualifying, 9th in the semi, and then boom. Only rider to go under 3 minutes. You win your home World Cup. Talk us through it.
Gnarliest weekend of my life. Going there from Lenzide, I knew the pace is good, but my knee was making a bit of problem. I was a bit worried about this. Luckily, we had a physio there because Rachel wanted a physio. Normally, we don't have a physio. And Wayne was a big help, definitely, like taping and like just telling me what to do. And body was was pretty much good for racing. And the mental side was the other thing, definitely. Just every second person I met there, you're gonna win this week, you're gonna win this week, you need to win this week. I will get your jersey when you win this race. Like everybody, I was nearly getting angry because I thought, are you wanna like destroy it because it's so much pressure on me?
Yeah.
But I think that's what I realized the last 2 years. The more pressure is on me, the better I get nearly.
Yeah.
So that weekend it showed again, if there's a lot of pressure on me, it like brings out the best in me. And what was it? Qualies, it rained. I think I was like the second fastest guy who was in the gnarly storm, like after the gnarly storm.
Yeah.
So quali was already sick. And then semis, I played a bit of a safe, how do you call it? The safer game. Just like don't show everything and keep like the aggression for final run. Because that's what I think destroyed it in Lenzard. I was too hyped up too early. And then I maybe wasn't focused enough. Like I said, I did a double, I don't remember. Like I wasn't fully there anymore. And then when we went up to finals run, I remember in the gondola, like, I knew today is going to be a sick day. It's just the feeling, the warm-up, everything, jokes with Ben on the Stargate. And I remember, like, I think the last thing I said to him was, like, I want this shit so bad, and went to the Stargate, and the crowd on the bottom, everything, like, it gives me goosebumps now. It's insane. Still can't believe it. I crossed the line, and I knew this is going to be a podium. So for me, it was already, this is so sick, doing another podium at home, like last year, and whole family there, like a little fan group and stuff like this. And then last 3 guys up there, still first, Loic behind me, and then Finn does a mistake in the last section. And yeah, just everything getting real was pretty gnarly, pretty emotional.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I think you said you made a couple of mistakes in the top stump section. At any point during the run, did you think, fuck, I've blown this, or were you there?
Oh, yeah.
Now?
Yeah, I think I did on the entrance, or I think I know it exactly. The entrance of the first stump section, I did a little mistake there, nearly crashed actually. And then I was like, come on, focus. And I was already thinking about the exit onto the motorway, because this is like the most important corner or section of the whole track. And Brownie, our team manager, sent Ben, my mechanic, a message. You need to pedal onto the motorway. That like seems to be the fast way to do it. And I was already thinking about pedaling, and then I messed up the last stump. Was too far left in like loose gravel, nearly missed the jump, cased the jump. And in that second, I just thought, oh my God, Brownie is watching right now. He must be like, oh my God, he fucked it up so bad. And I think from there on, I was just like, okay, now you need to, no mistake anymore.
Yeah, it's everything.
Now it's showtime. Yeah. And from there on, I think I did no mistake at all. Especially last section, I never rode my bike like this. Like the last section, I railed everything perfectly.
Yeah.
And coming into the finish, yeah. Insane.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you, like, you know, like when you've done that bottom bit, you've ridden it, that's the best you've ever ridden your bike, you know, and you cross the line and you're like, oh, wicked, that's a podium run. Did you then think, remember that you fucked up that stump section and go, oh, I'm probably not going to win? Or...
Yeah, that's why I thought it's not gonna be enough for the win.
Yeah.
So I think I thought I know this is not going to be enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the track was so fast and so loose, so everybody's doing mistakes.
Yeah.
And yeah, luckily that happened.
Yeah. So I mean, the journey that you've described there for us, from working as a car mechanic and trying to race and not qualifying at World Cups to winning your home World Cup, like, do you think the journey's made it even sweeter, everything you've been through?
100%. 100%. I would not like to change anything.
Yeah.
I think about it, of course it's sick, like Jackson is doing right now, just coming to the elites and crushing it and everything. So I think it's just a different story, and
yeah,
I like it how it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, congratulations. It's
Thank you very much.
To talk about.
So cool. So 6th in Val di Sole, and then on to Fort William for Worlds. That mistake in the woods, was it worth 0.6?
I think this one wasn't too bad. I messed up the exit afterwards again as well, which nearly was a bit worse, I think. You couldn't really see it on the camera.
Right.
There was 2 mistakes in there. But yeah, I think it would have been it, but would have, should have. Charlie is the best rider in sections like this, so fair play to him, and losing to him is the best shit ever.
You seeded second, which I think you thought was a bit of a surprise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was proper surprised.
Why?
Because Fort William, I don't know why, but I hated that place. Really. Every time I went up there, I just struggled or crashed. That's why I broke my collarbone, for example. And I just never had like a great time. And I think we did a good change on the bike this year, which we have a bit more grip than the season before. And yeah, just everything, the whole bike, team vibe made it possible.
The number of clips we've got, I don't think we've got any clips of anybody talking about any other tracks and saying, how much they hate them. But we've got Thibaut talking about Fort William. We've got Dak talking about Fort William, and they all just say, I fucking hate it. I fucking hated it.
But so, I don't hate it anymore.
No, because now you've had a good run.
The changes they did was good, I think.
Yeah,
it just added a bit or some flow, because before, I don't know, if the bike was off or just, I don't know, if something was off on you, the whole track was just a struggle. It wasn't fun at all. And now you have a bit of some fun sections in there, which make it, way better.
So really random stat that I noticed when I was writing this episode, and it just shows how consistent you guys are. So your speed trap in quali there was 63.60, and your race was identical, 63.60. So you got second. Laurie's was 61.02 in quali and 61.02 in the race as well, and he got third. Way. So it's just incredible how consistent you guys are. Tell us a bit about that moment when you crossed the line. The crowd went, ooh. You knew you hadn't, it wasn't enough, but then you looked round and saw Charlie in the hot seat.
Yeah, I was like the first second, of course, I was angry because I came into the line. I already looked up on the last jump and I saw red. And I was like, yeah, it will be red probably afterwards again. And I look back second and then just look up a little bit to see who it is. And then it's Charlie Hatton. I couldn't believe it. And I can't believe it because he is one of the best riders ever. Like every time I go out riding with him, he's insane. And but anyway, that moment was insane. And then we stayed up there for 1 and 2 for Atherton bikes, like smallest bike company in the circuit nearly. It's pretty sick. And just to see all the emotions, like everybody from the HQ, the hard work they put in, and just seeing Lloydie cry. Best thing ever.
Nice.
So when I was up there doing I can't remember if it was the National or the World Cup, but I spoke to you and you said, you can't live with Charlie through that middle section.
Oh yeah, there was World Champs, 3rd run in practice. I asked Charlie if I can follow him, and I already knew it's going to be a hard time. I followed him. I have it on GoPro. I think I need to post this.
You do, because he's talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
He told us, nothing to do with you. He said that he did his 3rd run and he was like, fuck, I'm good to go. He said, I've never ridden like this before. I'm good to go. So to hear that you were behind him and you have GoPro footage of that, please get it online.
I think I got it. I think I just got the top section because I didn't follow him afterwards, but I think I got it somewhere. But anyway, I followed him from Stargate to Tower 13, how it's called.
Yeah.
And it was the feeling like being on a race run.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to stop, but I don't want to stop. I don't know. I want to hang on him and just try to follow. And we stopped, and I was just shouting at him, "This is a fucking race, man. What's going on?" And we both said, "Okay, we need to calm down. I think the speed is really good. We should not overdo it now. Just like keep the speed, but don't overdo it."
Yeah, and that's the importance of teammates, right? If Charlie gets his own, nobody to say, dude, like, we are fucking flying. He might have kept going, or you might have kept pushing, and injuries, crashes. So having each other there to bounce off, it just shows the importance of that.
Yeah, and we did so much work together on that weekend. We compared our GoPros like every day and just watched lines till I don't know how late it was, and it all paid off.
So the next question is, you two make a great team. Why is it working so well?
I think we're quite similar. Charlie's just one of the nicest guys I know.
Yeah.
There's never like, if we travel somewhere, have like a week off, we go riding together. It's like, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. It's never like, nah, I don't want to do this. We go to the gym together, which is have a great time. We into the same stuff like trials bikes, cars, and just always a chill time with him.
Yeah, nice.
It's really good.
So
I hope he said the same.
Well,
yeah.
You didn't mention it. No, I'm kidding.
I need to listen to it.
He said you were missing. He said he thought you were missing him in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I was definitely missing him in America.
Yeah.
Just
you
like
told
practice.
me,
Pardon?
You told me in Montanan, you were like, "Fuck, I miss him."
Yeah. It was weird because there was like nobody who I can talk to. Like, I started to talk to Dom, to our junior, a bit more, which I think helped him. He did really well at the last two races, but it was something was missing. Just like talking about lines. Like normally it's like, dude, I found a sick inside line there. Let's do this one. I found this one. Like we just like share everything with each other, and definitely was losing that a bit, or like not losing, missing. Sorry.
It's nice you guys have got that relationship and it's functional, because it is, maybe you'll agree with this, but it is difficult when you're both professionals and you're competing against each other to start sharing that information and it never get to a point where somebody's trying to one up the other. It is really hard to do that. Me and Dan have been teammates for 4 years, and sometimes before you know it in a conversation, someone's trying to say they were better than the other one through there, and if it's a race, like, tensions can get high. So it's nice that you guys have got that relationship at World Championships, and then you both come first and second. It just shows that it's like super functional. And
without Charlie, I would have never been on the podium that weekend. So
exactly. That's really.
I think
cool.
we always like work with each other, and it helps each other. And you see it with some other riders sometimes. I think if Piero and Taprella in their best times, you could always see like they work with each other. Yeah. And I think Wynn and Dakota Norton sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can see.
Aaron talked about that.
It definitely helps.
Definitely.
Should not say it.
It's kind of the opposite, though, of what has been traditional in downhill mountain biking and well, motorsports. If you want to be first, you got to beat your teammate.
Yeah.
That was the old school approach, wasn't it?
In our
sport, I think it's a bit of what kind of guy you are, maybe. I think me and Charlie, we both are pretty easy guys. We're not like, I would not say someone is like egoistic or something.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty easy, or we don't think like that. Charlie is not thinking like he's the shit now because he's the world champ. Yeah. Like in other teams, you can see someone who's doing a sick result and then he's not saying hi anymore and stuff like that. So. Yeah.
For sure. Okay, moving on. So Andorra, unlucky with the weather after a good quali. Unlucky with the weather and crashed out after seeding in 8th. Ludenville, 4th in quali, 16th in semis, and then you had that lie down for 15th in the finals.
No, crashed in semis.
Yeah.
Actually, it was slower in finals with no crashing.
So Leger, big mistake in quali. See, I'm just testing you there, you see. Leger, big mistake in quali, 6th in semi, but 2nd in the final, as we've talked about earlier, behind Benoit. Would you say that's another race this year where you've been, I wouldn't say happy to be 2nd, but like you were like, well, I'll take that. The world champs and Leger. Or
No,
were
for sure.
like, fuck, I didn't win?
For sure. I think I was really stoked in Leger anyway because it was going pretty shit before.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like coming into Leger, my mental game was pretty broke because Andorra I did a ligament in my ankle, and then Ludenville was just shit. And I thought, okay, maybe that's a big issue for riding, and I don't know how the season will go. Blah blah blah. Had another crash in Leger, which I didn't know why it happened, and I really struggled there. And then coming out in finals swinging was just sick. So
It was nice.
yeah, seeing Benoit winning, I remember I talked to him on track walk and I just said, enjoy tomorrow home crowd. It will be so sick.
Yeah.
And he did it. And yeah, I think to see someone win like Charlie and Benoit, it just reminds me to my own in Leogang.
Yeah.
Like he must be feeling so good right now. Like this is way better if I would win. So
yeah,
this is like the best way I could be.
It's interesting, actually, just off the top of my head now, like thinking about the level of the sport and how many of you guys are in that top block. You've got you winning on home soil. You've got Charlie winning world champs on home soil. Loic winning Ludenville, home soil. Jackson, Mont Saint Anne, home soil. And then Benoit. You've got to wonder if you guys are all so fucking good, but so similar that it's that little thing that just makes the difference in that ride. I don't know if there's any more. Have I missed any more where it's home soil win? Snowshoe was American Irish.
Yeah.
Who won in Andorra? T-Bone.
The Prela, yeah, it's also nearly a home win, I would say.
Weather affected, but nearly. So yeah, interesting. I mean, your run in Leger was an awesome run. When you came down and you kicked Loic out of the hot seat, did you think, oh, I think I've done this? What did you think when you came through the line?
I was not happy when I crossed the line because I thought I did shit.
Okay.
I did so many. I wish I would have a GoPro of that run.
Okay.
Like the top section you couldn't see on TV, I was like 2 meters off my line sometimes.
Okay.
I was miles away of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I remember just before the lake on the top, I was pretty close to stop going fast and just do it safe because I was making so many mistakes and being offline, nearly crashed once. I thought, this is just dangerous, leave it. And then next corner, I got sick again. Like, I keep pushing, it's sick. And then I did another couple of mistakes. It was the loosest run of my life, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
And I crossed the line and I just thought, oh my God, this was so wild. I must be miles away. Looked over to Bruni and he's like giving me a thumbs up. Like, wait. He's not looking happy.
No.
Like, I just went to the lead and I lost it. I was celebrating hard.
So
I watched so sick.
I watched this the other day, and he gives you like a little royal clap, doesn't he? And then a begrudging thumbs up, kind of.
Yeah, I love to smoke Bruni. If I can say that, a few guys like Super Bruni and like all the top stars in our sport. If you smoke one of them, like Minnaar, it's just the sickest feeling.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Nice. So you finished the season, a couple of 8s in Snowshoe and Mont Saint Anne, 5th in the overall, but no overall podium. Were you pissed about that?
Yeah. Luckily, there was nobody close to me. It would have been a headbutt for someone, I think. I was so angry. I had to walk off. I think it's not nice what they did to us that day because I think you train for something and in Snowshoe, I pretty much knew I'm gonna be in the top 5.
Yeah,
I could go up to 2nd if I do if a miracle happens. But for me, it was like, okay, 6th top 5 again. And when I got kicked off the daily podium in Mont Saint Anne, I was still happy because I knew, okay, I'm gonna go on the podium for the season, for the overall podium. And then Lloydie comes up to me, there's no overall podium for you, only top 3. And I was like, dude, this is not nice at all. Like,
see, I didn't know about this until I've read the script. So
me and Finn were pretty angry, I think.
So they put no press or no warning out about this to any of the teams. They just
maybe there was for the weekend and that little, what do you call it, event map or something. But before we didn't know anything.
Wow.
I just heard it then.
it's 5-podium sport, isn't it? That's what we have. You can't just go to 3 at the end.
It's weird. Yeah, you have 5 guys on the podium for the day, and then 3 for the overall. If it would be the other way around, it would make more sense to me. But yeah, maybe I'm thinking about like this because it affects me. But yeah, if I would have known it before, I would be all good with it. But
yeah,
or maybe I would have gone faster because I would have been more aggressive for top 3. It's like you never really know.
It should be communicated, not on the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah, luckily no headbutt for someone.
Yeah, they got lucky. Sticking with the controversial stuff, what are your thoughts on the semi-final and the other changes we've had this year? Semi-final being, I guess, the main change.
On the beginning, I was a big fan because I thought more racing. I love racing. Racing's sick. But then my mind changed after, I don't know when it was. Maybe after Leogang, actually.
Okay.
Because it's just not that interesting, I would say.
Yeah.
I think you guys talked about it before on a podcast. Just you see the same thing again. Just you watch semis and then you see the same thing again, which is finals. But you already know, okay, this guy's going to be fast. This guy's going to be fast. It's not going to be a miracle.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe, but you already know, okay, these 5 boys going to be winning probably.
Yeah, okay.
So I think they should get rid of it, and it's a top 30 final anyway. I mean, especially like for riders like you qualified mostly, I guess.
Yes, 6 out of 8. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you did like a couple top 40s, I think. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, does it make a big difference for you if you would qualify 34th and then you already out, or you go to semis and then do a 34th? Does it make a difference, really?
It does, in the sense this year they showed us on YouTube. So
yeah, true. That's a thing.
Racing, showing off our sponsors. So yeah, I mean, for me, it was almost a saving grace, I guess, this year that the semis. That if they'd left the final as 60, great. But when the final became 30, if they'd got rid of the semis, I think I would have retired. If there wasn't a 60 semi, I would have gone, well, the last couple of years shows that I'm probably not going to make any 30s, and I didn't. And/or I was on pace for that, but it didn't end up happening. But yeah, I mean, I think the main thing on that subject is I agree with going to a 30 final if that's what they're moving the World Cups towards. But they need to something needs to happen with the development series with IXSs. Those things need to start being televised. They need to start getting more attention, because like, I'm 34 now, my career's moving in a different direction, but there are a lot of guys my level who are in their early 20s. I mean, think about yourself when you were in your early 20s. Top 30 finals wasn't.
Oh, I will be gone. I will be car mechanic right now.
Look at the career you've had. You're now one of our top riders that we all love watching race.
Yeah.
Like, one of my personal favorites to see you around and see you competing, love your attitude and seeing the way you kind of are at the events. We would have missed that. So
for sure, like also Benoit and Deknord and guys.
So what they're doing, I agree with, in the sense of they're making the sport more professional, but they can't just do it.
Because they need to build it up like a second series, yeah. For sure.
Need somewhere to go and develop, so that then they can develop and move on into the next one. So yeah, I think I don't agree with semis. I think it needs to go, but they need to improve the system building towards that.
I think this is already happening. I think there's already something going on, but I think this should happen before.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You can't do it after, because there's 2 years which will be pretty bad for privateers.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think about the change they've done next year with reducing the practice time on finals day? Have you seen this? I
don't know about that.
That hour block we were given before semis to do 2 runs. Now they only have to give us 30 minutes. What do you think about that? Are you going to be happy with just 1 run in the morning, or are you kind of...
I think I'm happy with that, yeah.
Yeah?
I think that's okay. I mean, it definitely changed a bit how much lines you can change before finals. Like, you go for track walk after qualies.
Yeah.
probably can't change many lines again because there's not much time. But I think it's maybe good. Having too much time in the morning is not good for me nearly.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm overthinking it nearly. Like,
you kind
push
of
back
ready
again,
by
push
that
back
time.
again, push back again, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if it's like only 30 minutes, like you have one run, maybe push back 2 or 3 sections, that's it.
Yeah. It's interesting
it's
to say that. It's almost the opposite to someone like Minnaar, who you'll see on that last session. Like, he's up there most of the time. He's usually the last guy off the hill, like doing loads of processing. It's interesting to hear your strategy of, I'm good to go. Just warm up and do the thing. So cool.
I mean, and it's the same for everybody. So stuff like this doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, nice.
I think, but yeah.
And
semis is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And your thoughts on the venues for 2024?
Definitely not enough. That's number one.
Yeah.
Poland could be interesting. Like, I know some Polish guys, and they said there's no track really.
Ooh. Yeah, but that's the second person to tell us that.
2 months ago, so I don't know. You can build a good track pretty fast, but in Poland, I don't know. So let's see. It could be really good. It could be pretty bad. Like Ludenville wasn't ready this year. I hope nothing like this happens again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Fort William first round is like a classic Lehrgang big track now, so I'm stoked. What's the next one?
Val di Sol,
one of my favorite tracks of all time. Is it Léger is the next one, is it?
Léger's in there. Ludenville.
Right. One thing I did want to ask about is Léger is spread over 2 weekends.
Same as this year. It's it's XC downhill enduro.
So X downhill's on the first weekend, is it?
That's what they did this year. I assume it's the same this time. I haven't seen a breakdown for next year.
Okay.
I think so. I'm not sure right now. I have it on my phone somewhere.
Yeah.
What's the last one is Montenegro, which is weird again so late in the season.
Yeah.
They have like 7 races and then we need to race till October. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, the huge break in the middle is crazy. Like,
it's the Olympics, isn't it, though? And they can't do any XC.
I think that would be a bit more space on the beginning or something. I don't know. Yeah. But I think it's just weird to have not many races and race that long.
Yeah. So one last thing I wanted to ask you about. I think I saw somewhere that when you're training, you sometimes do runs where you only use your front brake. Is that true? And if so, tell us a bit about why you do that.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. I wanted to keep the secret, actually. Because it helps big time, I think.
Yeah.
But it just shows how much you can use your front brake. And to me, if you don't use your rear brake too much, you don't lock up your suspension too much, and the front brake just slows you down way more. So you can brake later. It's crazy. I can just tell everybody, try it. You will be amazed how fast you go with only front brake. It's crazy. You start to lock up the front brake and stuff like this. It's pretty gnarly.
Okay,
like, please don't put the rear brake off. Just put it like somewhere like you don't touch it all the time. So if there's an emergency braking, you need it, you can do it.
I could see Jack's mind processing that and like thinking, right.
Now I'm telling the UK rider stuff like this. That's not good. They're already way too good anyway.
Great stuff. So when does the training start for 2024?
Right now. I've just started today.
Right? And what's the goal for 2024 now?
There's no goal set yet, but I think trying to repeat something like this, what happened this year, and just make it more consistent. And if it's more consistent, I'm maybe part of being in the fight for the overall. So yeah. And taking the stripes of Charlie, of course.
Andorra? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, this year was it qualies? I don't remember. I had a mechanical in semis or qualies. Oh, there was no semis.
There was no
in
semis.
Qualies I had a mechanical. I was second till there. I nearly went off track and like had a massive wobble. I was 8th. And then in finals I had a really good run as well.
But you came down the ramp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like third ride in the rain or something like this.
Yeah.
So I think I got it figured out now because I didn't like it before the new track. So I'm stoked for next year.
Cool. Well, thanks for making the time to come on the show. Congratulations on another amazing season. I hope you can take it up one more level next year and maybe do the overall. That'd be so cool to see. Yeah, good luck next season.
Thank you very much. Stoked to be here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. It was really cool to hear your story. Like, obviously, I've been very aware of you since you joined the Athertons and started doing well, but there's a lot of background there that I wasn't aware of, and I'm sure a lot of listeners wouldn't have heard. And, you know, it's all well and good hearing the stories of the guys who've had everything on the way up, but to hear your story and now see your success, it's fucking cool, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Cheers.
That's all we've got time for in this episode. Thanks to the wonderful sponsors of the show, Hope Technology, JTech Suspension, Revolution Bike Park, Ride Southern Spain, Kolb and Singletrackworld.com. If you're enjoying the podcast, I'm sure you know what to do by now. Please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you've got a second, please drop us a review. Alternatively, please give us a follow on Instagram at Making Up the Numbers Racing or Facebook.com/Making Up the Numbers. Thanks for listening. We'll be back very soon.